media that you have considerably lost ground in Migori County as far as your support is concerned. Is that true?
I think that is the greatest lie I've had today. And it's unfortunate that I'm starting the interview with a question which is not based on the reality. I don't think that is true, because you'll notice, like, this whole week I've been in the county.
Yes.
And I've been going around, beginning with Rongo, Awendo.
Sure.
I've been to Uriri, I've been to Sona East, Sona West. I've been to Nyatike. Yesterday I was in Mabera, I was in Kuria West, I was in Kegonga, that is Sona East sub-county, and finally in Timaru.
Yes.
And the kind of welcome I'm getting from all these places, I'm wondering what somebody is talking about my support. I mean, to me, I think I'm even ashamed, because the kind of support I'm getting from the ground is harassing me. I feel overwhelmed. That, as you have rightly described it, maybe it is just a talk from some few people that may be promoting some propaganda. I don't know why, but the support that I have, I think it's making me feel really humbled. I didn't know that I have that kind of support in Migori County.
Yes.
Yes.
Could it be that because this week, beginning of this week, we hosted Mr. Eric Opany, who is the ODM youth leader in Migori County, and he made it very clear in black and white that your office, or you as a person, you have very little to show for your position. There's nothing so much that you've done since you came into office as the women rep. What do you have to say about that?
Collins, I think that's a question which I may not even want to address.
Yes.
Now that you have told me it is from Eric Opany, definitely is bound to talk like that, because, you know, I took over this seat from Miss Danita Gatti, whose personal assistant, accountant, security person, and everything else was Eric Opany. Much as he claims to be the ODM youth leader, he forgot that I'm also a very strong ODM person, and I'm running and working on an ODM ticket. So maybe that cold outside there, maybe what has made him talk like that. But look at it.
Yes.
I remember when I was looking for this seat, to be candid and not minting my words, quite a number of Migorians were wondering what was wrong with me. They thought this seat was useless. They didn't even know what it was all about, courtesy of that Eric Opany and the Danita Gatti who was in it. And Migorians didn't know. They actually wanted it scraped out. They were wondering, Pamela, at your level and capacity, why are you going for this seat whose function we don't even know? And I told them, just hold on. I will make you know what it is all about. And as we talk today, everybody else is only talking to Pamela. Everything that Migorians are thinking about, they are calling Pamela's office so aggressively. We saw you doing this, we saw you doing that. Just to give you a glimpse, this office is all about providing a voice for the vulnerables, which I've always done, representing them effectively in parliament and in all fora where decisions about them is being made. The women, the youth, persons with disability, and all the other minorities. I have done this very effectively. And this office is all about empowering these groups as well. And I think, notwithstanding the kind of challenges I've had since I got into this seat, you remember we started off with a lot of chaos between our people's president, Raila Amolo Odinga, and President Uhuru Kenyatta. Yes. And we were tear-gassed for almost 5 months. We did nothing. Then soon, we were kind of settling around March 2018. And this trying to settle began after the famous handshake that we are still talking about today, on the 19th of March. And we were struggling to settle. Then another tragedy struck Migori. In around the end of May or June, we lost our then senator, the late Honorable Ben Oluoch-Okello. And Migori was thrown back to a campaign and political mood. And you recall, I am the one who actually led and championed the campaign for Ochila Yako's Senate aspiration. And we campaigned and delivered this vote around end of somewhere around early October. I went out of the country, coming back, I died on the road at Rongo, and another 1 whole year without any activity. However, as I sit here today, the following have happened in Migori County in terms of empowerment of these groups I'm talking about. We have trained a number of farmers, young farmers and even old farmers in this county, about 500 or so of them. These farmers are specifically growing fruits led by pawpaw, not pineapple, but avocado and all these other fruits. And the aim of raising these farmers is because we want to do some value addition on these fruits and give them a longer lifespan so that they are available for Migori and other parts of the country. And also our farmers don't go at a loss. As I sit here today, I've already acquired one of the machines that we need to start this value addition, and sooner or later I will be calling you for its launching. We have given farmers greenhouses, and they are producing tomatoes and horticultural crops, vegetables and the like. If you were to allow me, I would have taken you to one nearby my home here, and you'll be amazed at what is going on there. In terms of empowering groups to promote their small enterprises, businesses, we've given money to various groups, women, persons with a disability, and good money, around between 100, 200, 150,000 to various groups in this county. We've given bursaries. I think being a woman, and everybody in the county has been crying about water, much as water is devolved. I have taken the initiative to provide water tanks, large storage water tanks, about 5,000 liters or 10,000 liters, as the population around the region may be. And recently, you even saw these water tanks. I diverted them now mainly to primary schools, because I was wondering, with this COVID thing, and all our schools don't have water. So we've given almost, as I talk here, Migori County has got about 620-something primary public schools, and about 270-something secondary schools. As I sit here today, more than half of these schools have tanks, big water tanks, from the Women Reps office. I know, even in terms of the COVID response, I think the first office in Migori County to provide some very reasonable water tanks for hand washing, which I'm still doing, is actually the Women Reps office. We bought about 600 of 250 liters water tanks, and we distributed them to all our public places like chiefs' camps, police posts where people go oftenly, and our marketplaces, the border stations. They are all over this county, and each sub-county got more than 40 pieces of these tanks. So I think we've done a lot. I think the other thing, we are doing value addition. There are groups, women groups in this, and farmer groups in this county, producing probiotic yogurt, courtesy of the Office of the Women Representative. Rongo Dairy Farmers is one of them. Rays of Hope Women Group in Uriri is one of them. There is Asuna East Women Circle, and all these things are happening. We are actually introduced to young people some brick making project, which is aimed at empowering them economically and providing a job for them, as well as providing a cheaper material for building houses for widows, which I'm about to launch again. I have acquired some materials for building the iron sheets, and we are making these bricks. Once these groups make these bricks, we bought for them the machines, and we have installed one of the groups they already started making. My intention is to have each sub-county have one group which can actually do these bricks. And once they buy them, my office will still initiate the first market for them, because I'm targeting to raise some houses for widows. I bought mabatis for these widows, about 1,000 of them from all over the county. But then when I looked at their situation, I thought if I gave them those mabatis like that, and we don't make the house, they would actually sell some of them. Some of them may not even be able to provide timber or anything. So I looked at the situation, and my committee decided that we have to find a way of supporting these widows a little more if we are serious to help them. And these are the issues. So all this have happened in Migori County. The other day, in response to COVID, I've been giving sanitizers, I've been giving masks to various groups, I've been sensitizing people.
That is a serious concern. The issue, I know you for the past 1 week, you've been on an expedition in the county distributing distributing sanitary towels,
Yes.
and the other day also distributed water tanks.
Yes.
Some people are saying that this is just for PR, that you have done nothing.
How is it PR? How is it PR? And these are needs.
Yes.
And serious needs that are affecting my people. Unless somebody doesn't understand English well, they need to define what PR is all about.
Yes.
I've told you what I have done, and I have evidence, and I can tell you locations where they are. If you go to all those primary schools and secondary schools, I have a list, and I started doing these tanks way before even the COVID came.
Yes.
So when our people don't know what my office is supposed to do, my office cannot build roads, my office does not build hospitals, my office does not, I don't know what they expect my office to do. I'm actually doing that which my office is supposed to do. As I sit here, I have a number of checks again that I'm supposed to give groups. It's only that this COVID, we've been not allowed to hold congregations. But I'm in discussions with the health and security personnel of this county, and we are working on methods of making sure that these groups get money to boost their businesses. And this is actually my work. So now when I really don't want to belabor on this. Somebody somewhere, whoever is feeding you with this kind of information, must be either sick or something. I'm struggling to find the right word.
So are you saying, Dr. Pamela, that those people who are saying that you have performed dismally are just your political detractors? They are people
exactly. They must be. I really don't know them, and I don't know what they are trying to distract, because to be honest, their noise will not distract me. I would actually do my work, and by the end of the day, I am sure Migori County, like I've told you, whenever I've gone, even if you look at the internet right now,
Yes.
people are happy. For example, the case that I'm addressing now, you know, when we closed schools because of the COVID,
Yes.
and now we are told large numbers of our girls to the tune of 4,000 and above are already pregnant. Such a kind of loss, if I come out of my way to address it, then somebody is calling it PR, then I'm wondering what that person is all about. Does he or she care that if we lost these children, then we have lost a lot? You know, I have always kept reminding Migori County and Kenya, the most valuable resource that we have on earth is not the money, it is not the land, it is the human being who can actually manipulate all these things and make some productivity out of it. So it pains me that all my girls might not be able to go back to school whenever that school will be opened. And this is a serious concern, that if somebody wants just to look it as a PR, then that is a sorry state. That kind of person is the kind of person that, please, don't even give them a chance to speak a word so that they poison people's mind. For now, we are not in politics. And so, those who are politicking, time is coming, and it is very soon. In fact, it's only a short distance away.
Yes.
But for now, I wish, beginning with myself, let the Migorians allow us to work. Let every other elected leader do the best that they can do for now within their offices. What is within their mandate, and even go a little extra. For example, this idea of the girls, I'm addressing the issue of the teenage pregnancies. I'm addressing the issue of these early marriages. Now, I can't just sit and watch. As some of these girls, like yesterday in Mabera, I have 5 girls whom we rescued last week from being married off. One of them, I'm told the father is even a pastor. They were arrested, and actually they are in as I am talking, and we are following this case. When you marry off a 14-year-old girl, are you not condemning this girl to permanent suffering and poverty of its own kind? You know, these are the issues we are addressing. And you see, like when I'm going around giving those parts, it's not because these teachers or whoever was my personnel cannot do them, but I think I've been taking my time to talk to the people who are with me, the teachers, and then the girls, and I'm giving them some information that I would like them, the whole world, to hear. That one, our girls have got the power to say no. We cannot allow these girls to always play victim, because some of them allegedly go out of their way even to look for these men. And we must tell them and convince them and persuade them and dissuade them against this kind of act. It is not healthy for them. Sex is fine, it's God-given, because God made us male and female, but he expects us to do this sex at the right time. So when we engage in sex at this tender age and then they get pregnant, some of them get sick, some of them drop out of school, I don't think it is to the benefit of the community, both their parents and themselves and all of us. So when somebody calls that PR, I think such a person, you need to ask them to go see a doctor, please. It is important that we find out. Some psychiatric need to look at them.
It's okay.
But I know, I believe in a God who also is. I want to pray that such a person gets the correct perception and revelation.
Yes.
And may my God forgive such a person.
Yes.
What I'm doing is not PR. What I'm doing is work, and a very significant work. As Pamela, I grew up from nothing. The most poorest family I know in Migori County. And for me to reach this level, it would be a sin against my God if I cannot go out of my way to share with these children my own personal story and encourage them to soldier on and persevere and vumilia, so that by the end of the day we can turn them into another Dr. Pamela Odhiambo.
Yes.
I heard you preempt that, I don't know whether you told me this earlier or you were coming to ask me, but you are telling me that people are saying that I'm eyeing the governance.
Yes, that is a very big question.
To be honest, there should be progress. And I'm telling these girls, I'm not here to stay in this seat forever. We will make progress at some stage.
Talk about
and
that.
as we make progress, I need replacements.
Yes.
I need somebody to become the next woman rep who is even better than me. So what I'm doing is coaching and mentoring people who can actually take over from me. And as I move to presidency, because I want to prophesy, I am the first president woman. The woman first woman president of this Republic of Kenya. Watch the space. I will get there by the help of God and in the name of Jesus.
Yeah, before we get to you vying for president and all that, let's get to the specifics. Because just like I've asked you, people have been saying that you have performed dismally to some extent. So what are some of these? What can we say is your greatest achievement?
And that's why you feel.
Yes.
I feel you are contradicting me, because the same you is telling me people are saying I am going for governorship. So somebody who has performed dismally, that question we are not addressing. I've not performed dismally, so I'm not addressing it. I have overperformed, according to me. Given the resources that I have in that office and the magnitude of the area that I'm supposed to perform with that money, brother, let's face it, you called this a hot seat, and let's be candid and clear. Of all these seats that we have in Migori County, the governor gets at least about, I've been getting about 7 to 8, 9 billion in every financial year. An area MP, for example, where we are sitting from today, is Suna West. Suna West is a constituency composed of 4 wards. And every financial year, this MP, in the name of National CDF, Government National Constituency Development Fund, gets around 137 or 34 million every financial year. If things are working well in Migori County, then a ward representative, whom we call MCA, is supposed to be getting between 25 to 35 million every year for development and whatever work they're doing. Now, the office of the women rep in Migori County, and that is on record, you can actually go and verify from either the national office or from my office or any other women reps. In Migori County, I have 8 constituencies. Each of these 8 constituencies is supposed to receive 7 million per year. But the national committee, the board that is running GAF, keeps about 5% of this money. So what comes to our kitty by the end of the day is a total of 52 point something million per year. Divide that by 40 wards, where I'm supposed to discharge these duties. I have 1.3 something million to do that in a financial year. So if that money is able to do all these things, then you cannot tell me that I have performed dismally. I have overperformed. And the truth of the matter is, sometimes I've had to go out of my way to use my own resources and even look for well-wishers to support what the government is able to give me so that I am able to deliver any services in Migori County. So whoever is talking of my dismal performance, please take that person back to school and teach them what I've just shared with you,
Yes.
so that you can compare. We compare and contrast.
Yes.
I told you when I was taking over the office, Migori County did not know what this office is capable of doing. And these monies were also there.
Yes.
And now that I'm here, now Migori County at least knows what this office can do. So how does somebody judge me to say that I've performed dismally? It's an irony,
Yes.
if I can remember very well. So this person is actually praising me in reverse. I think he's my greatest friend.
Yes, I know
you've
mentioned several projects that you've done in agricultural sector and also uplifting some women in the county. But what is your legacy? What is that one project that you really feel proud of as a women rep?
Many of them.
Yes.
And it is not just one, because I've explained to you what my office is supposed to do.
Yes.
And all of them, I've done them. So I'm actually proud of all of them.
Yes.
What is this one project that you are looking for? Remember, I am the only MP seated here today. When I got into this office, I found my colleague who had left had started some projects.
Yes.
One of them was allegedly to be an ICT center in Awendo sub-county.
Yes.
Another one was a gender-based violence center in Kuria East, some place called Nkuruna. And a few market sheds, one in Kuria West, one in Nyatike, and another one in Rongo. Listen, when I took this office, those projects, all of them had stalled. There was nothing going on. But look at what I did. I reasoned and said, these things are not going to be elephant projects. I completed all of them. And Awendo is already equipped, and I have trained about over 500 young people there on ICT issues for free. And as I talk to you, all these things I'm talking about, I'm very proud of them. Look at our border people. I trained these people and gave them licenses before I got into this office. You remember, I'm in charge of the youth, and most of them are young men. You know what was happening in Migori County if you happened to have been there. Most of the time, our borders people were always fighting with the police. There were two issues.
Sure.
They had no license, they had no gadgets to make themselves fulfill the requirements of the traffic rules. And apart from that, because they were that desperate, most of the time there were people on hire. People were hiring them to go and beat each other in funerals and make noise. I took my time to sit down with these young people, and I caused them to realize the value that is in them. And I did not just talk to them. I went out of my way and trained them fully about each sub-county. From each sub-county, I trained about 200 border riders and about 20 motor vehicle drivers. Of course, my unit of recruiting them was the sub-location. And with that, the location, sorry. And with that, there are discrepancies. Some sub-counties have more locations than others. So their numbers were ranging. But the barest minimum that we trained in any one sub-county was 220. Now, with that, brother, we gave all these people licenses.
Yes.
Today, you don't see those kind of running battles between the borders and they have formed themselves into circles.
Yes.
And I went out of my way. Each of those sub-county groups, I gave them 300,000, and the rationale was, as you drive other people's borders, you also have at least 3 or so of yours, so that you have something. That is what I call empowerment.
Yes.
So what I'm proud of, my legacy, is that vision of mine to empower my people. What is empowerment? Empowerment is all about giving people ability to take care of themselves and their needs. And I think that one I've done. All these things I was mentioning aimed at empowering my people.
Yes.
and causing them to know what is there, what the government of Kenya is doing. That is the situation I'm talking about.
Yes.
So I think I've done excellent, and that today my young people are peaceful with this, understood why need to wear a helmet, why to protect their chest, why they need to have that license. That gadget is dangerous. It has killed some. It has killed some of their clients. It has maimed some. And therefore, I think what we are talking about here, brother, forget about this idea of struggling to prove somebody's idea that Pamela performed. Pamela has actually remember, dealing with a teacher
Yes.
who has been examining people. So my Bible says, examine yourself. I have examined myself and I know
Yes.
I have done well. So whoever else is complaining out there, let them complain. But by the end of the day, people who have been impacted by what I have done in Migori County will tell you that Pamela is a person to think about
Thank you.
positively and not negatively.
Thank you. I know you've mentioned the issue of financial constraints as a very big setback to your operations.
Yes.
What other challenges have you faced in that office since you were elected, other than financial operations?
Of course, one of the greatest challenges which I faced in this office since my election is my health. Courtesy of that gross bad accident I was involved. Actually, that accident was fatal. I lost my security personnel.
Sorry about that.
It's a very sad thing. Every time I think about it, I feel very, very sad about it. But God rest his soul in peace. He was a nice young man. And this has costed me a lot, because with that pain, when it happened, people would appear like, yes, they understand. But sooner or later, they don't see you in functions, in funerals, in what, and doing this and that, then umepotea. And the kind of injuries I sustained, even to date, I have still refused to enlist myself as a person with a disability. But there are quite a number of things which I cannot still do. And I'm only hanging on faith and hope that God will fully heal me someday. Like this left hand, there are quite a number of things that I cannot do courtesy of some injury I sustained on my left shoulder here and the neck. And my whole spine vertebral column, there had breakages and injuries which were very dangerous. In fact, I am walking and moving around by the grace of God. So to me, it has been a serious setback, because much as I would like to move and very swift and do things here and there, I am not able to do it for now. The other thing is the expectations of the people. Like some of these people you are, you keep highlighting their opinions about me.
Yes.
The people don't seem to understand the difference between my office, the governor's office, the MP's office, and this confusion keep creating unnecessary conflicts. Especially you do something in good faith, like I went around giving these sanitary towels. Then somebody is wondering why I would go to somebody's area without them, and you know, such kind of small issues.
Yes.
So I think the other issue that I'm still feeling is a challenge is that this civic education I'm talking about, I will aggressively do more so that people know what is the role of a governor, what is the role and the function of an MP, and of course the MCA and the women rep and the senator. I think this is a real challenge, possibly not only here in Migori, but I think it is a confusion that is almost all over the country. I think it is a challenge because then it keeps lighting small fires that you have to keep quenching, as opposed to going ahead and doing your work smoothly.
Yes.
The other challenge, of course, is the landmass that I have to cover, and even the population that this little money that we have has to work for. You know, as far as the election was concerned, as at the time I was being elected, there is this concept that the registered voters that voted for us in Migori County were only about 663 people. Now, the resources that we have, that 52 million, the truth is, you are not using it just to serve these 300,000 or for about 400 people. The actual population in Migori County is way beyond that.
Yes, yes.
And so covering all these people, reaching out to all of them is a challenge, because the resources is little, and then there are many, and then the distance. Migori County is so large and so wide and poorly networked, especially with roads. There are roads, yes, but they are very bad. So especially in my condition, reaching out to all these corners of Migori County,
It's a challenge.
40 wards, even if you were to visit each ward in a year, you shall have only visited 12 if you were to do it per month. So you can imagine, that is a big challenge. Last, and more or less maybe the most important, the fact that I am a woman most of the time make, especially the female counterparts, that you should not even talk where they are talking, you know. And this is a challenge which I think I'm not only experiencing as Pamela, but all the women leadership. I think the population, majority of them have not realized that women are just as capable and as are able to do well and even think properly and implement things. Much as in our homes, we know our homes are actually run and managed by women. When it comes to the public, people think that women are not supposed to, you know. So, but this is a challenge which we are overcoming.
Yes.
Like me, I think I've overcome it. It's not really of a challenge to me, because I've proved to people that I'm capable of doing things just like any other person.
Yes, thank you.
Except that I wear skirts most of the time, and that's the only difference. Otherwise, I think the real challenge is the resources that we have. Even some of these offices, I'm not saying that they have enough. All these offices, the truth is, the expectation of what you are supposed to do vis-a-vis the resources that are in them is a constant challenge.
Yes.
Because even that office of the governor, if you went into detail, like what is a governor supposed to deliver in a county, and more so a raw county like Migori County, then you'll appreciate that even the billions we are talking about may not be as much as we are thinking about it.
Yes.
But compared with mine, then people expect you, when you go somewhere, maybe in a fundraising, the governor gives 2 million, they expect you, the woman rep, also to give 2 million.
Yes.
Then you see what I'm talking
Yes.
about. Otherwise,
yes.
It's a good challenge,
It's a
because
good challenge.
then it makes us to always aspire to do better.
Yes.
Yeah.
There has been a general feeling in the Republic of Kenya that Kenyans are overly represented. We have so many positions representing Kenyans. We have MCAs, we have MPs, which you remember, we have senators and governors. So there's been a feeling that the position of women rep, which you hold, is redundant, and if possible, it should be scrapped off. What do you think about that?
A misguided kind of thinking. I think Kenyan, sometimes the funny bit of us is that when something is happening, then we forget the beginnings. Kenyans, we are very good in forgetting what happened yesterday. Like when we are talking about this women reps position, brother,
Yes.
are Kenyans saying that whoever sat down and thought that this position should be there, and the reasons which were there are redundant? I will tell you, no. Listen, the kind of group that the women rep is supposed to be representing, like now, I give you my example, maybe this would help you understand. See, everybody has been crying that our girls are getting lost in the wilderness here.
Sure.
Where are the male counterparts to come and look for them? It took a woman, and it has taken me and other women reps to worry that our girls are getting lost. We need to hold them. So this is a very special seat, which was raised because of a very special, unique people who have always felt their issues are marginalized and are not important. For example, I've never sat in any meeting where males are discussing how women can be helped to get sanitary towels for their menstrual health. To them, it's not an issue. Well, they know it happens. But even many men in their homes, I wonder, how many of them have just walked into a shop because they went to buy a sanitary towel for their daughters or for their wives? You know, so when we are talking about the seat of the women rep, don't just look at it as another seat. It is a very special seat that was orchestrated by the need to give attention to some of these special, unique groups of people among us. Consider the case of the persons with disability. In many homes, since time immemorial, we have had MPs, we have had presidents, isn't it?
Yes.
It is the seat of the governor and the senator which came up again recently. But we have had MPs, we have had councillors. But in many of our homes, our persons with disabilities were a taboo, and they were being hidden.
Yes.
And there was a need for somebody to speak on their behalf and champion their interest and also look into their plight. And you've seen me carry wheelchairs to go into the villages looking for these people, especially those that cannot move. So I think whoever is fighting the seat of the women rep really is an enemy to the vulnerables of our society. The young people like you, I consider you younger than me. I don't know how old you are, but you look younger than me in a way, though I'm also younger than you. But I think the young men and women of this country are such a potential. They have ideas. These are people who know what they can do, and they can be so creative. But what has happened in the past? You find that we used to have the MPs, we used to have the presidents, but it was rare that somebody took the interest to even sit down. These issues and concepts of talent search and empowerment of the youth and allowing the youth to express themselves and all these things have come courtesy of this seat. And I think with this special interest, that's why I was telling you the greatest challenge that I'm facing in totality as a women's rep is the misunderstanding that everybody thinks that the women rep should do what the MP is doing, and that's why they think we are not overrepresented. We are representing a very unique group. Look at the orphans. Most of the time it is these women reps that you'll find looking for those orphans and even wondering what they have eaten. So the women rep seat is not just another seat. It is representing these special disadvantaged groups, what our government called the affirmative groups.
Yes.
And I think kudos to most of the women reps. They have done a good job.
Yes.
It has taken the women reps to look for even girls who have dropped out of school and take them back to school. Even young men who could not do exams because they dropped out of school because of fees or something. Women reps have brought them back and registered them, and they have done their exams. They have been taken for vocational training. Hey, women reps, I want to clap for them, but now you have held my hand. I don't know what to do, but I think kudos to the women reps. And if there is any seat that should be scraped, it is not this seat.
Yes.
Even if I was to be the president, I would still retain this seat. Yes, I would still retain this seat.
So are you saying Kenyans are not overrepresented?
They are not. Because the representations that have been there, see, I've told you the groups that had not been, whose issues had not been really brought to the fore.
Because the feeling is that that representation, or that too much representation, does not directly translate to substantial development in the Republic of Kenya. It
has. I'm telling you things that are happening in Migori County, and you are not calling it substantial. What do you mean? Don't you know if the entire economy of Kenya is actually riding on small-scale business? So if I'm empowered to train women and have them do businesses and create money and jobs for themselves, if I'm able to train young men to sharpen their skills and start their own businesses, how are you saying that this is not resulting in substantial development? What is development according to you? Let somebody define for me what is development.
Yes.
Guys, these are rhetoric sentences that I don't want us to go by in this country, and more so in Migori County. Migori County is full of young people, some of whom are graduates, and they have no jobs. Imagine I'm picking some of these graduates, like there's one whom I'm now grooming to launch production of biogas in Migori County. And you'll see it very soon. So now, Migori County, atuna hata miti, we have cut all the trees. Women have no firewood. If such a young man can come up and produce this gas in the local communities and have our women cook, you are not calling that substantial development, honestly speaking. There are issues that, please, some of these speeches, we have picked words from the Mzungu, and I believe some people use these words without understanding them deeply, what they are all about. Development is all about improving the life standards of people to better, using resources that are available in their own environment. Okay? So now, we have some cow dung around here. We have some sugarcane hassles around here. And now there is this young man who is also a resource, a person who is read, he's well read, this guy, and he has no job. So when we the women rep, led by me, can identify such activities and make them happen, and then somebody is dismissing such a seat, ole wenu. But I think the women rep seat must not be touched. If there are some seats, and maybe allow me also, you have been asking me questions. Now let me also ask you, if now that there are these many seats, if some have to be scraped, why the women rep? Why not the Senate or the MCAs?
Okay.
Give me an answer. Just say okay. I mean, why the women? This makes me think that the same still mentality of long ago, that every time there is somebody to be sacrificed in the family, it must be the woman.
Yes.
Just like it is in many families, because there is little money. So there is John and Atieno. They both have to go to school, but the money is little. So let Atieno go and get married, and they bring cows so that John can go to school. You see that kind of thing. So even now at the national level, it is like, okay, the money is, because I think maybe it is not of a representation. Somebody is thinking that the women should not be paid, they should not be earning a salary, they should not have power. So let the women reps go. Because it happens that now, much as the constitution does not say it, all the women rep seats are occupied by women. So somebody is thinking, let's send these women back to the kitchen. But be careful, because somebody like me, I am sure, I want to warn you, Ali, you cannot confine me to the kitchen anymore.
Sure.
When you scrape this seat, I will come for the male seat and I will get it. I told you Migori is overwhelmingly supporting me.
Yes.
And so be careful.
Talking of the male
Some
seat.
of these women, you don't joke around with them anymore. And this seat is very important. We are going to retain it.
Yes.
We may scrape others, but not the women rep seat.
Talking of male seat, and you did mention this earlier in the interview, that you are planning to go for bigger positions. So can you confirm this morning that you will vie for governor in the next election?
You have said it. Why should I not confirm? I mean, people have ambitions.
Yes.
If Migori County thinks that I'm fit to be a governor, and I think even God is thinking that I'm fit to be one, why not? I mean, people move on. People move on.
Yes.
You know. People move on. So don't worry.
Okay.
As for now, allow me to work as the women rep Migori County.
Okay.
When 2022 comes, every seat is open.
Thank you.
I would even want to invite you to vie for women rep position, because actually the constitution does not bar men from vying for this seat. So
Thank you. My director is really on my case that we are really up to finish, because time is really spent.
Yes.
And I know you also have some things to catch up with. But we cannot finish this interview without touching some national politics. The ODM, which you are a member, very recently, in fact yesterday, they reconstituted their elections board, and they argued that these are a way of building or rebuilding the faith of members in as far as their party primaries are concerned. You remember the ODM has been, I can say, bungling or having very shambolic party primaries. Do you think this move is a good move in as far as building the faith of ODM members is concerned?
First, allow me to appreciate and thank my ODM members and colleagues who have served in this board for some time. For the period that they were there, they served the party, and I think I am a beneficiary of their work, and all of us are. However, I think leadership is a relay, according to me.
Yes.
So even if there was not any other reason, I think when we are in positions of leadership, at some stage, after we have done our part, we need to leave it also to somebody else. I think that is good practice. And then, number two, you have talked of the ODM alleging that they are trying to rebuild the faith. Yes, I know our colleagues did very well. But one thing I also want to point out and disagree with you a little bit. I think the ODM primaries cannot just be dubbed shambolic all the time. If I look at all the parties in Kenya, to be honest, I think the party that has always had a resemblance of a democratic nomination process is actually ODM. So we need to kudo it and make them happy that they managed to do that what they do, because you know, the party is not a national government. The resources that a party has is not even like what the real government of Kenya has. But ODM has attempted to almost do elections, not even a nomination, you know. And that's why sometimes it has appeared to be rather chaotic and what you want to describe as shambolic. But I think it has been the best so far compared to what happens in other parties. See, hata Jubilee wakati mwingine miliona vile viti vilikuwa vina fly during their nomination. So I think ODM has actually done a little better. Please, this is my party and I know how good it is. And the issue of rebuilding the faith, well, of course we know there have been cases where sometimes some candidates have not felt very much encouraged because they were popular on the ground. They also just met all the other requirements, and at some stage they have not gotten the ticket. So it may appear like it was an issue, but I think so far the move is good.
Yes.
That our party can reconstitute, not because all those other people are so bad, but from my position, I think they have served enough,
Yes.
and it is good to let other people also try it
Yes.
and see what will happen. So I just like I'm telling you, in a position of leadership, I think it's good to be open-minded.
Yes.
Like today, I am the women rep of Migori County, but who said I should be the women rep of Migori County for forever? Yeah, I'm an immortal person, or maybe I shall have been tired. I am not able to crisscross. Somebody could take over and run with it. That does not mean that I am useless.
Yes.
If a wise person should only build on what I have done and bring it to completion.
Yes.
Now, as for my party, I think I want to wish my brothers and sisters who have come on board well, and we will be willing to work together and support them where necessary. I hope they are men and women who are open to free consultation and communication forth and back for the good of our party and for the strength of the party as you know it, the largest party in the
as you always say
in the rest of the world. I don't know any other party in a developing country which has performed like ODM in Kenya. So we wish ODM well. We know it has what it takes actually to make the next government of the Republic of Kenya.
Thank you. You are a member of the National Assembly of the Republic of Kenya. And very recently you passed a bill which some people call controversial because you in that bill you argue that former legislators who retired between the year 1984 to 2001 should be given a monthly pension of 100,000 shillings for the rest of their lives. What informed this decision? In fact, because this bill was sponsored by the minority side which you belong.
Yes, I think what informed this decision, even as you are asking me, you should know, because it was debated, it was explained, it was published, and then it is not a secret. Looking back, brother, other countries, to be honest, have done better to any of their leaders. You know, when you give yourself to public service, you are a public servant. And most of the time, you really over-sacrifice and sacrifice almost everything because of the people or that which you serve. And if you took a profile of some of our past leaders and MPs, in fact, look at somebody like Matiba, the late. You know, as at the time Matiba was dying, if it was not for his own personal wealth and that of the family, he would have been a very miserable person. And most of our MPs in the past have been just used when they are there and they are mweshimiwa, and the moment they are out of those seats, they are abandoned like that. No pension, no nothing. They are just there. And it is a sorry state. So I think the proponents of this bill were looking at the cost that these MPs have had to pay. Let me tell you, my brother, even as I am sitting here, the real truth is, whatever monies that I get, whether my salary or what, when you sit on this seat, it is not your money. And it doesn't even take a minute in your pocket. So I think in the name of citizenry, and it's not just the MPs, my prayer would be if we could be a financially stable country. All our public and any other person who has served this country well in the past, we should see a way of making them well taken care of citizens till their death, just like they are doing it in America and other parts of the world. That is my prayer. I don't know when God will grant it. But I know you are about to say it is very expensive.
Exactly.
Yes, it is very expensive, but all our contributions to this national kitty, if all used well, the only thing that you, as you think about the question you are to ask me, because time is also finished. If we can stop corruption, fraudulent stealing of the government money in this country, even you who has no job, Kenya can give you something small to keep you going. So this is the thing that we need to confront. But for the people who have served this country, personally as Pamela, I really don't feel grieved when we also take care of them when they are not able to take care of themselves. I think that is my position. So maybe that is a motherly position, but that's what formed me when I was voting for that bill.
Yes.
Yes.
Well,
So let's go to something else,
exactly,
because I can see
exactly.
time is running out.
Time is much spent. And the last
Yes.
question, there's been a stalemate in the Senate where they have failed a record 9th time to pass the revenue bill. What is your take on this stalemate and all this debate?
The debate is good. It is a healthy debate. And I think as a people, we need to have some immovable standard of doing our things.
Yes.
And I think this is what the senators are struggling to do. The formula proposed by Kangati and the others and every other person who has proposed, I think, to me, it is a good gesture because Kenyans are thinking and we are beginning to think objectively and scientifically.
Yes.
However, the stalemates that there are, at some stage, some of them now look subjective and not objective. And that's what is worrying me about it. People have caucused, and some people feel now they are people of Jubilee A, Jubilee B, sijui what, and they are making it now more of a political way of settling scores than a real objective way of looking at things that will make our country stable into posterity. The real issue, according to me here, is that the people of Kenya know that in our constitution, we are talking of equitable distribution of resources. That word is powerful. When we talk of equitable, what do we mean? If we are two mothers, me, I have 2 children in my house. Another mother has got 10 children in their house. There are possibly 3 kgs of meat to be shared. Ideally, it will not be fair that each mother gets 1.5, because then the one with the 2 children will have a surplus. The one with the 10 children will actually have just 1 for 1 meal. That meat will be cleared, and it will not be enough for the 10 children. So what is the issue here? Now we will divide this 3 kg of meat using something the mathematicians would call a ratio. So 2 to 10. And so I should get a smaller ratio with my 2 children, and the bigger ratio would go. Then that is equitable. But you see, in our case, we want it flat. If it is 2 kg, then it is 2 kg for everyone, even if I'm only one person and the other person are 100 in their group, so we must all get 2 kg. That is not equitable. Having said that, what I think and my take on this debate is healthy, and to me, I don't mind however long it takes, so long as Kenyans can come to terms with everything, so that when we settle on a formula, then we are not going to wake up tomorrow and start fighting over it again. So I think the senators are doing well, but I would wish that they look at all the proposals that they are and then come up with an optimal proposal that will take care of everybody. And as they think about these 316 billion that they have been talking about, I would like them to also know that the development standards in Kenya, especially the provision of social amenities, things like the hospitals, roads, recreational facilities, hospitals, and facilities like universities, schools, and all that are skewly distributed in this country. Some sections of our country are already well done. Others, like Migori County, we don't even have a proper hospital here. So my take would be, as they think about this money, let them also think about the other funds that are available in the government, the equalization fund especially, so that we also come with a strict rule that those counties with already developed facilities should let this money go purely to marginalized areas like Migori County, where we need roads and we need hospitals and we need schools and universities and Northeastern and everywhere. I think that should be able to settle Kenyans. But to make it a die or do kind of activity, I think that one they are veering off the road a little bit. Let us be sober as we discuss this thing. And to me, that decision can even be postponed to next year, so long as Kenyans have not understood what it is that we are talking about. And meanwhile, we have a formula of dividing this revenue. We can go on. That is my take.
Thank you. As we finish this discussion, I'll give you 30 seconds maximum because time is much spent to just give your headline thoughts, talk to the people of Migori as we finish this interview this morning.
The people of Migori, right now, you saw me struggling to reach out to the girls through the teachers in schools. I want you to know that from 19th to around the 12th of November, I will be expecting your daughters of class 6, 7, and 8 to be going to school on specific dates that the headmasters will call them to pick 2 pieces of sanitary towel. And even as we give them these pieces of sanitary towels, this is not all. I want Migori County to arise and face the sin that I'm calling dishonesty and illicit sex among our children. Please come out, fathers, come out, mothers, come out, preachers of the word of God, come out, teachers, and the children yourself. Let us stop this illicit sex. I'm calling it illicit sex because it is done when time is not ripe for the doers. Yes. They are not yet able to live with all the consequences of sex. The consequences may be ranging from diseases to physical destruction of their organs, especially for the young girls, and pregnancies, and many other traumatizing experiences. Yes. Please let us help our children to live a valuable, godly life and bring them to maturity before we give them into marriage. Last but not least, I am against this bill, some sections of it that is talking about the issue of abortion, homosexuality, transgender, and all that. I think the proponents of these issues, though women they are leading our nation to unnecessary perversity. And even the notion that we should give young children family planning pills as being proposed by the UNICEF. I think I don't feel confident to take a pill and give a 10-year-old, 9-year-old, 11-year-old girl who has not even started getting her monthly periods in the name of family planning. My question is, which family is this girl planning? Who is the husband? I want to know before we make unnecessary destruction about the bodies of our children.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Well, that has been Dr. Pamela Odhiambo, who is the County Women Representative, Migori County. And we appreciate Dr. Pamela for a very warm reception at your home here. Well, this was the Hot Seat, and my name is Colin. We are coming to you live from a place called Pinyoye in Suna West Sub-County in Migori County. Enjoy the rest of your viewing. My name is Colin Skayubs.